If you've ever dreamed of owning a place in Japan but figured it was impossible, visa issues, no loans, no clue where to start, trust me, I've been there. But after almost 3 years living here, I finally did it. This is a story of how I bought my own apartment in Okinawa, Japan, and how I'm turning it into a co-living space for digital nomads. I knew I wanted to put down a base in Okinawa, create something of my own, and share the space with others. Buying property in Japan as a foreigner is confusing and full of hidden costs that are hard to understand and plan for. That's why I created the all-in-one property cost calculator. It reveals the true total cost of buying real estate in Japan, including every hidden fee, tax, and legal expense. Finally, get clarity and confidence before you commit. I searched for almost a year. I lost count after 18 or 19 viewings. One place had a perfect view. I was ready to make an offer, but someone else got there first. A year later, I found out construction started right outside their window and reserve fees doubled. Bullet dodged. Others were just weird. One had no kitchen, one smelled weird, one had an epic view but no elevator, and it was on the 6th floor. So this apartment viewing didn't exactly happen how you'd expect. I found a listing on one of those Japanese real estate websites. I scroll through whenever I have time. The whole thing's in Japanese, so I have to put manually translate it in the browser. Usually, when you find something interesting, you call the agency, but I emailed back and forth instead, and I didn't get a reply in time. So I just drove there. I went straight to the real estate company the day after the listing went live, sat down and said, I'd like to view the property. They were really polite and immediately said, if you wait just a little, we can drive you there right now. So we did. We got into the car, and that same day I had the viewing. When we got there, I already had my designated parking spot, which comes with the apartment. Super handy. I parked my little car perfectly, and it's literally a 10-meter walk to the elevator entrance. The building looked a bit older from the outside, but it was nicely renovated, and the elevator, definitely brand new. Going up, I was already thinking, wow, this view is going to be something. I could see the American military base, hills, the ocean, and tons of houses spread out. I got to the very end of the hallway, it's a corner apartment, and waited for the real estate agent. Said konnichiwa, and that was actually lucky. No one had viewed the apartment before me, which means he didn't prepare it. So I got to see the place exactly how it is, raw. He opened the door, and yeah, some parts of the door were already rusty. But right away, I could see this long hallway inside. Of course, we took off our shoes, and there were some built-in storage cabinets right by the entrance. To the left was the first room, and I went straight in. There was old carpet on the floor, a small window and a large window front that let in a lot of light. I liked that there was a little storage space too. But right away, I saw the air conditioner. It was really old and probably not working anymore. One of the windows was broken, and the carpet, yeah, no idea how long that's been in there. That needs to go out for sure. But then I opened the balcony door. Wow, and it completely blew my mind. That salty air came in. I looked out, and there it was, the sea. Just a slice of it, but enough to remind me why I was doing this. From there, I could see all the way to American Village, to Chatham, and I had an actual ocean view. Even though I hadn't seen the rest of the apartment yet, that moment was already a game changer. Back to the hallway. Next was the bathroom area. There was a little washroom space, the sink really old. Where the washing machine is supposed to go, the floor was actually broken. And something that really surprised me, because you couldn't see it in the pictures, was the shower room. The walls actually looked kind of nice, but then I looked inside the bathtub, and oh my god. My Japanese friend literally said, that bathtub is haunted. It was rough, definitely needs to be replaced. Then I checked the toilet, and the agent casually told me it's leaking, so that's another thing to fix. But despite all of that, I loved the layout, especially for multiple people living here. The flow just made sense. Then I walked down the hallway into the kitchen, and the first thing I noticed were the big windows from the rooms in the back. There was also a small kitchen window. But the kitchen itself, oh wow, probably from the 80s. The whole thing was metal, functioning, yes, but really not nice. What really surprised me though was the gas oven. That's super rare in Japan. If you had that back in the day, you probably had money. Most places just have a grill under the stove, so this was kind of cool to see. But yeah, that kitchen also needs replacing. Then I stepped into the second room, and immediately I thought this is going to be work. One of the walls had clearly been added later, and I'd want to rebuild it to make it wider and soundproof. Then I saw water damage on the ceiling. So I did the classic poke it with a pencil test, and it was dry. That gave me some confidence because it had rained like crazy the last 3 days. If the ceiling was still dry, it probably wasn't an active leak anymore. Still, definitely something I'll keep an eye on. The air conditioner, again, super old, also needs replacing. But then I walked out onto the second balcony, and honestly, that was the moment. The view was unreal. I could see the ocean, the sparkling reflection of the sun, and even the islands Tamami and Tokashiki. I just stood there thinking, this is it. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, shred the like button. Finally, I went into what would probably be my room. Right away, I saw all tatami mats. All a little different, so they'd probably been replaced one by one over time. But the layout was perfect. The middle wall had clearly been added later, so I definitely want to rebuild that and soundproof it. There was also a big built-in storage space, which I really liked. What I imagined immediately was each room with a bed, a proper desk, a screen and a chair. So everyone has privacy, but you can still meet in the kitchen in the middle and share that space. I was honestly really happy, and actually I made my offer before anyone else even got to see the apartment. I tried to get a mortgage. I had a stable visa, clean record, enough years living here, but no permanent residency, and no Japanese co-signer. Banks just smiled and said no. So I had to pay cash. That means everything changes. You stop thinking about dream apartments. You start thinking about pipes, about termites, about how many cockroaches are hiding under the vintage fridge. But that's exactly why I made a calculator. None of the listings give you the full price and the full picture. They show the selling price, but not the stamp duties, real estate agent fees, registration tax, property acquisition tax, or how much you are paying for the reserve fund every month, as well as calculating your return on investment and the dividends, as well as property increase percentage per year. A lot, I know. Also, if you want to rent it out, you need to include cleaning, management company, parking fees, water and electricity, income tax, repairs, maybe even a local contract if you're not in Japan full time. So this tool helped me model it all. Monthly income minus expenses, rental options, how many years to break even, best case to worst case, it's all there. In my next videos, I explain the tool into more detail. Why I said yes despite the mess. The air conditioner was super old, the kitchen had an 80s vibe, and there was water damage in the ceiling from a leak upstairs. But the bones were good. Concrete walls, a solid layout, great natural light, 2 balconies, one shaded, one for morning sun, and crucial, the upstairs leak was already investigated. Repairs scheduled. The price already reflected it. Most of all, I could see the future version. Not luxury, but calm, warm, a place to think. A place that could grow with me. People ask why I didn't buy an IKEA, a cheap abandoned house in the countryside. Honestly, I didn't want to spend 3 years fixing a roof or figuring out how to remove 6 tons of rotting tatami. I wanted a manageable space, not a forest, not a construction project. Just something I could fix in months, not years. I'm turning it into a co-living space for people like me, long-term travelers, remote workers, folks who crave a pause, not just a vacation. 3 rooms, 1 for me, 2 for guests, each with a proper desk, fast Wi-Fi, soft lighting, a sea breeze when you need it most. Minimum stay, 31 days, enough time to slow down, maybe even reset. The kitchen, green, cozy, full of light, like a jungle. The bathroom, I wanted to feel like a little onsen. Stone floor, plants, a rain shower. Maybe even a tiny soaking tub if it fits. I'm removing as much as I can myself. The old kitchen, AC, even the haunted bathroom. It saves money, but also it helps me learn the space, understand how it breathes. Every yen I save goes into making it more intentional. In the next video, I will walk you through the actual buying process, from navigating agents to transferring funds to starting the renovation. I also show you how the calculator works in detail, what numbers matter most, and what I wish I knew sooner. The journey is just getting started to live my ikigai.